your authenticity is a big reason why I think you have so many people that follow you and root for you. And one thing I noticed about you is that you don't let people, how they respond to you, or even everything that you've been able to build, change the essence of who you are. That always comes through. And for a lot of people who maybe didn't know you before, the cooking videos and the TikTok presence and your appearances on Ellen and the digital shows, a lot of them became acquainted with you when you responded to Wendy Williams. After she got out of pocket and started talking, I appreciate this even more so. I haven't been married as long as you. I've only been married 3 years. So we're in year 3 right now. And one thing I have definitely learned, being a married woman, don't talk about other people's marriages. Like, really don't. Like, that is just...
You don't know what they got going on.
You don't know what they got going on. You don't know what's happening in somebody's house. Mind your business, as you like to say. However, the response you had to her went viral because I think some people were probably really surprised that you responded with such kindness. What did you, or why did you decide that that was the way to respond? Kindness, empathy, prayer, even.
I think that's the only way to respond, right? With negativity or when people don't really know you, right? I always give people grace. It's my first thought and intention. And I honestly wasn't even gonna respond. Like that morning went like this. I was sitting right here working and my phone started going off. And I was like, Lord, why are these people mess? I mean, it's like 7 a.m. for me. And I look and people are like, girl, Wendy Williams is talking about you. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know she knew me. And then somebody sent me the clip. I said, oh my God, Lord. And I put my phone on back down and went back to working. I was like, Lord, bless her heart. Like, she don't know me. I went back to working and it's like God said, this is the moment where you give this woman grace. And I said, well, I don't really care, right? He was like, but it's not about you in this moment. And so I just, from my heart, did the video with no expectation that people would go crazy about it, right? But I think, to your point, the reason that people went crazy about it is because no one had given her grace before. She's been fighting for a long time. And I was not going to show up to the fight. I was going to show up to love her, right? To pray for her. I still pray for her every day, especially these days, because she's not well. And it's heartbreaking to see people that way. When I say the pain you must be in, like that pain, I can't even imagine how that must feel to be in that kind of pain, and how it must feel for years to capitalize on other people's pain or downfall or create that and have to live with that inside. That's heavy, right? And so I just thought, well, this woman needs grace in this moment, and to know that somebody sees her in this moment without negativity, but also to let her know that mind your business next time, and don't put out things that way, right? But that's really it. Like, my intention every day is to love. I choose it intentionally. Every day I'm like, I wake up and I want people to feel loved. I think that's our purpose. Like, we all were born with a heart for that reason, to love. Liking people is different. We all love by default. It's natural for us to love. It ain't natural to like. And so it was just real and intentional.
I guess that is sort of a big example of how you might respond if somebody, is trying you, right? Are you always able to exercise that? Because I can't imagine you mad, but I imagine you might have some moments.
I always tell people, unless you live in this house, you probably will never see me mad, right? Because you don't know me well enough to ruffle my feathers. The person who can get me, honey, going is my husband. Honey, he be, I be like, you want me to kill you, don't you? You want me to. But even at this stage of my life, it just takes so much. I mean, we can't even stay mad. We can't even argue good no more. We both get tickled. Like we was having a spat this morning on something so dumb, but I had it in my mind. I'm gonna have an attitude with you today. He be like, oh, you're gonna be mad at me today, huh? Like, and now I'm laughing, right? So it's like it takes too much out of me. It's exhausting to be upset, right? But to be happy and to be joyful gives you energy, right? So I need all the energy I can get. I got a lot to do. I ain't got time to be walking around holding grudges, being mad and frowned up. And also, honey, I like my skin. When you be frowning, it be taking all this get to going. I don't want to do the Botox stuff that the folks. I ain't ready for that life yet. Okay. I want to keep it smooth as long as I can.
Well, it was, it was interesting because originally what touched off, Wendy Williams's response was about you saying that you wanted or have already retired your husband, which I thought was so beautiful. But yet, women who are in your position, who are high profile, people assume, you're the high earner and all this other stuff, and like to get into your business based off what they see. It's almost like people want to, because I go through the same thing, being my husband is obviously not as high profile as me. And so people have all these perceptions about what our interaction must be like, oh, you only with her because ESPN used to pay her this and all this kind of stuff. So I know you certainly don't live by other people's negative perceptions, but nevertheless, does that ever get annoying? Because sometimes for me, that gets very annoying. And I never want my husband to feel emasculated. But part of the reason why he's my husband is because he's very secure in this situation. So how do you deal, I guess, with all of that part?
I be telling people this, and this is the God honest truth. I know people don't believe it, but I don't care. I don't spend time on it, right? Because I think that's where it gets annoying, because you spent time on it. It ain't my business what somebody else thinks. I know my truth. I know my husband's truth. I know our truth and our circumstances together. People don't know it. So, which is why I wasn't going to respond that day, because I was like, well, she don't know it, so it don't matter. But then I did. But so many people, girl, people gonna always have something to say about us. They're gonna always have something to say about you to the day we out of here. And even when we gone, honey, they're gonna still have something to say. Let them say it. Honey, wish them well, right? It ain't my business. And as long as me and my husband is right here, that's all that matters to me.
Well, as I mentioned, he's seen you through every stage, but it's vice versa. You've seen him through every stage. Yeah. So what do you sort of, and this is not to suggest he's not done evolving, but what's the most proudest you are of seeing seeing the man that he's become? Like, what makes you most proud seeing how he's gone from the fifth grader you knew to now being this man next to you?
Oh, honey, listen, he's a coach now. He started his nonprofit, Team Chance Basketball. And when he is in his element with those kids, I'd be like, I'm so glad that you got fixed, honey, because we might have about 2-3 more babies, because that thing is it's so attractive on them. Girl, I'd be like, woo, that man is fine. But I love to see him pour, right? Because I know how he grew up. And I know the people he needed in his life that he didn't have. And he works really hard every day trying to be that for other kids. And he's so passionate about it. And to wake up and let that drive him, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. I'm so proud of him. So, and he's just beginning. That's the other thing that excites me, is that he's just getting started. He's just getting started. So I'm excited about what God is going to do in his life. Yeah.
But you guys, as I mentioned, you guys host couple conversations through the Black Love series. So should we expect that you two will be doing more? Because I think you guys are really good at it. So will we see more of Tab and Chance? Will we see this?
Girl, you're going to have to ask Cody. Go over there and knock on the door and ask if you're going to come back.
Well, maybe not specifically with Black Love, but, listen, Nicole, Ari Parker, and Boris Kojo work together all the time. I'm just saying.
We do our own thing on Fridays. It's Fridays with Tab and Chance. And so we've both been so busy, we haven't been able to do it as consistent as we like to. But the goal this year is to make that even bigger. So absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how does he like the media spotlight or being out front?
I mean, he's slowly catching on. He's slowly embracing. You know, people who follow me very early on, when I used to cook live in my kitchen, they never saw his face. They would only hear his voice. And all you would hear was him saying, man, you got them people looking in our house again, man. They looking in our kitchen. I'd be like, babe, I got to do this. The Lord has told me to do these videos. He'd be like, man, I don't like all these people looking in our house like that. Now he'd be like, hey, babe, you ain't did no video in a while. You need to go on ahead and do that video.
That's right, holding you accountable.
But it's so funny. Last night, yesterday, Black Love posted like a reel on Instagram, and it's of him talking. And he was watching him sit on the couch. He said, hey, babe, you saw this? And I was like, yeah, I saw it. He was like, man, shoot, I was all right on that. So he's starting to get his feet wet and get comfortable. So he's starting to enjoy it. At his own pace, it's got to be his own pace.
That's great, because I swear my husband is an extrovert. So sometimes I have to be like, give me the mic.
No, it takes him a while to warm up and get comfy.